Hello, I think you can hear me now. Hello, hello. All right, we are ready to get started. This is exciting. Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. This is Younes, um, your favorite dungeon master, obviously. The uh, the guy who created the Forge, and I am here to celebrate with all of you the 1 year anniversary of the Forge's public release. So far um, we have three anniversaries basically, and this is the third one. The first one was the first commit that we celebrated in September with a art contest on the forums. Um, and then we had the first public, closed beta for my patrons in February as well. And now it's the anniversary of the public release. Um, no, Handcake, I didn't get a haircut. Well, at least I did it a little while ago. It's just that I'm using my bone conduction headphones instead of my usual um, uh, headset, which makes my head look different because you don't see me now with a big uh, thing over my head. Um, so yeah, let's see. I'm trying to follow the chat. I'll probably not be able to. But hey, everyone, thanks for joining us. Welcome to this anniversary stream. Let's see if we can do some music, maybe. Destiny, do you have any music that you'd suggest I play? I'm not sure. Oh well. We'll get to put in a little bit of background music just to give a little bit of ambiance. The tabletop music on there. Which one? Can you just like give me macro music on the Bazaar? Is it already in that game? So I'll launch the live stream world. Destiny, I know you're on there, so can you like import it and just play it? We'll get to seeing that stuff in a bit. So yeah, just I'm on there. Just import it and play that. Actually, you might need to install and enable the module. So I left so you can restart the server. All right. So everyone's here excited about the giveaway. I know. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let's talk a little bit about the Forge and the progress and the everything that happened throughout the year, as well as the plan for the next year that is about to come. So first of all, I would like to thank everybody who is here, as well as obviously everybody who has trusted us with their games and given us a chance to prove that we can be the best VTT platform, the best hosting service, and letting us enhance your games, letting us um, take care of all the difficulties associated with getting a good Foundry VTT experience for people who don't necessarily want to play sysadmin or who have low internet speeds and things like that. So thank you for trusting us, and thank you for all the praise that we received talking about the Forge and how much you like it, because you have helped make the Forge successful. So I'd like to thank everyone for that. I want to start by talking a little about the very first release of the Forge. It was a little chaotic. Back then, I was trying to get this service running as fast as I could, because I realized that it was such a huge project, and I'd been waiting a bit too long before getting it started, and I was really worried that I wouldn't have enough time to make a really good service for Foundry to be ready on May 22nd, which had been announced as the release date for Foundry VTT. And so I worked really hard on getting that service up and running. And at first, I wasn't really caring so much about the user interface, but I just needed it to work for people, basically. So I worked on getting the let me just see. So I've worked on the website just to get it to a state where people could log in, could see their games and launch them. But it was really weird, graphically speaking. You had to scroll quite a bit just to be able to see your game. And yeah, I'll lower it some more. And so, in the end, I don't know if we can still hear the music actually. In the end, I had a lot of feedback from people on Discord who were telling me about, oh, we should not be scrolling that much. You should do this, you should do that. And I took all those advice into consideration in order to improve the website. And at the end of the day, I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. And my purpose was to make a VTT platform and service that people would find easy to use and beautiful as well, not just in terms of performance, security, which are the things that I'm most qualified for, but also in terms of a good user experience, a good user interface, the convenience of everything just working, and things like that. So I worked really hard on that. And so within a few weeks, I was able to launch my closed beta, and then kept working on that for quite a few months until I was able to do my release at the same time as Foundry VTT, public release of May 22nd, 2020. So that was last year, and we are now celebrating the 1 year of that. Throughout this year, a lot of things happened. So the first was, sorry, as I realized, how much latency some people would have if they are in Europe or in Asia, I set up test servers to be able to check the latency between them, and I realized that for some people who are in Asia, the latency was going to be really high with North American servers. And the same thing with Europe. It's not so bad. 90, 80 milliseconds is really not that bad. You most likely would not notice it, but I still wanted to have a service that would be local to most people. And that's what I did. Let me see. You're saying that I'm too low? Can you hear me? Huh. I don't actually... see the... Okay. I'm just looking at OBS and I don't see the green bar moving when I talk. Okay. So I'm just increasing the volume of the microphone in OBS just to make sure that I'm not too low compared to the music. I personally actually can't really hear the music anymore, just barely. It's probably my headphones volume. But yeah. So yeah. So we added the European and Asia servers. This one is in Amsterdam, this is in New York, and the Asian one is in Singapore. So just moving from a single data center, from a single location to 3 different continents has been quite a challenge, and it was a fun and interesting one. One of the big aspects of it was to ensure security, because the communication between all the servers goes through the internet at that point, not just a local private network. So I had to make sure that it was secure, that I could synchronize your data or move your data from one region to another without opening any kind of vulnerabilities to potential attackers. For example, if someone could get access to to a single server, we don't want them to access everything else, so everything had to be isolated. So there was a lot of work that went into both the design as well as the implementation of just making sure that we could deploy in more than a single data center. But I did that and managed to do it, and I'm really quite happy with the result, because the Forge is the only provider here that allows you to have servers in all these regions and get the server closest to you when it comes to your Foundry experience. One thing that is worth noting is that this only affects the latency with the server, the Foundry server itself. So with regards to like moving a token or creating a new actor or something like that. But when it comes to changing maps or basically loading your music, loading your maps or tokens or anything like that, it goes through the assets library, which by the way should be like 54 regions now, locations, not 49. So I need to update that. But you can see I have a slightly higher latency to the assets library versus the server itself. But what's interesting is that for most people around the globe, they would have this exact same 20-25 milliseconds latency to the assets library wherever they are, even if their latency to the server itself is higher because they're not really close to the server. So that makes it really good for all sorts of people who are around the globe, being able to load their maps, their games really fast, by both having a fast, dedicated bandwidth, but that is also close to their own location. Alaric has a 5 millisecond ping to the assets library. That is insanely low. But yes, that's the point. It's really good. It's a low latency, but it's also a high bandwidth, so a high speed. So you should basically always be able to max out your internet speed, even if you're like on fiber potentially, because the servers are really fast when it comes to serving assets. And so this was something that I really wanted to do from the start, and it's something that also took a lot of time and effort, as well as engineering, to just get that to work, between separating your data and your assets. It's quite a challenge, and that gives us this awesome browser where you can just browse for your assets, and just separating the two just makes it so much easier to manage. And on top of that, it brings that experience, that improved speeds for everybody, which is going to be much more interesting to you. For example, if you are, let's say, in Atlanta and you have a player that is in Chicago and someone else who is in London, or if you have players that are scattered around the world, that's going to make an extremely big difference to everybody. I think the assets library was basically the very first feature, like the big change from how Foundry works that the Forge implemented. And then, we did the multi-region stuff, and we did so many other things. The Bazaar being one of them, which was originally added when the only way to install packages for Foundry was by going to the wiki and looking at a single listing page which had all the packages in it, all the modules. And it wasn't really great, obviously, because as developers we had to go and edit the wiki all the time, and users had to know that there is a wiki. They needed to go to the wiki and look for the content there to find something for them to install. It was really good when we had around 30 modules, but as it grew, it became really impossible to manage. And so I started working on the Bazaar, which was going to be a central repository of all the modules. And midway through that implementation, Atropos of Foundry VTT implemented his own module browser. So you were able to click that install modules, and it would list you all the available modules and systems and things like that. So yeah, you had that option now that you didn't have to go through the wiki, and so that kind of dropped the Bazaar requirements for me. And if you remember, those who have been with me from the start, we had the Bazaar, but all it had was text here that was saying that it was going to be coming at some point, right? And so when I implemented the Bazaar, I did it into, I think, 3 or 4 stages. So like the first one was being able to have my own listing of all the modules and systems, so that they were stored on the Forge's server. So if I want to install the furnace, I just click and that's it, it's installed. FX Master, it's the same thing, just click and install, which is really fast. And you can compare that to installing something on a local installation of Foundry, especially if you want to go with like a Warhammer module system, for example. You can see the speed that it installs. That's another of our performance improvements, and that was the first stage of the Bazaar. It had 2 purposes. Well, it had one purpose basically. It was to decrease this game data size for you, because everyone was going to be installing the same modules and systems, and it made no sense to me to have that data duplicated all over the place. So I wanted to have it installed in one single spot, and everybody would be able to use it. So there were some challenges there. As an example, compendiums. So if you have compendiums in DnD, Pathfinder, and things like that, they couldn't be read-only. They had to be read and write. Otherwise, Foundry itself would not be able to open it. But also, if it was read and write, you would potentially be able to modify it, and it would affect what other users would see. So that was obviously not something that I was going to let happen. So of course there is a security system that surrounds the whole Bazaar, so that one person cannot overwrite or modify any files that someone else might be using. So there are obviously the security implications of that. There's the performance implications and things like that. And the overall result was that your game data was now extremely low. So if we look at the sizes of these modules, right, you can see like adventure music is 9 kilobytes. That should probably be a few 100 megabytes, right? Forge of Fury, 300 kilobytes. So this is an example module that has big compendiums probably, but you see like just a few bytes, even 590 bytes. It's very, very small. You see the meditating monkey ruins. It's 159 bytes. It's so small compared to what it would be. So in the end, all these modules would probably be taking a couple of gigabytes on your local installation, but they would probably not even reach a couple of megabytes when installed on the Forge. So that allowed us to free up a lot of the game data for the users, which is obviously a really good thing. So that was the first stage of the Bazaar. The second stage was to be able to build this UI, so you can browse, you can see all sorts of information. So you can click on a module, see a lot more information. You can get a lot of metadata as well. When it was first released, the last update, all of that information is really interesting for us, and so we can show that to our users, and it just makes the browsing and especially like the search as well really good. So you can do like a search for maps. So here are the map modules, and I would like to look for something that has a forest in it, and so I get my forest maps right here. Or I can do anything that is both map and music and talks about forests, so I can do these kinds of things. I can sort by latest release, most popular, alphabetically. I can filter depending on the category. I can filter by the language when it comes to modules that have translations. You can do that. There's also something that I really like, is that you can go to a game system and just say search for the modules that are compatible with this game system, and so that gives you just the modules that are compatible with it, which is really nice. So there's that, and so creating that user interface that lets you browse these things was the second stage. And it was a big milestone for me because I really wanted to do that, and it's something that I think is really lacking when it comes to being able to browse content for Foundry, especially when you have this many modules, 1,454. It just becomes unmanageable if you have a single list that you can't even search in, or so that was the second stage, and then the third stage was the release of the marketplace, where it was just a natural next step, because we have this ability to to show modules for people, and we have the ability to charge people, because creating a system for charging credit cards or PayPal was also a rather complicated task. And so this was the next step, to just be able to allow people to search for content that they like, and be able to you want a specific thing, like, oh, my players are going to pyramid thing, and so you can look for your pyramid. And I don't know if you've all seen that. I don't know what happened. I can't see my Twitch anymore. But yeah, I just had a little, probably my GPU just crashed for a second. It happens sometimes. So yeah, you can just go, oh, here's something really great, and then you can buy it, install it, and yeah, that's a really great improvement to the user experience of the DMs who need content for their games. And the Forge is the first and the only marketplace for Foundry VTT. And the interesting thing is that I also wanted to allow people to be able to download the content and play it, even if they're not Forge customers. So obviously I would love if everybody was a Forge user, but I understand that not everybody wants to be. Some people prefer all the complications that come with managing their own servers, and it's their choice. That comes with having the freedom to do what you want, which is what Foundry allows you, right? I mean, it's not. I don't consider Foundry as being a self-hosted VTT, but it's a hosting freedom VTT, right? So you are free to host it at home, in the cloud, or using one of the service providers. So it's that freedom that it brings to you, and I wanted to provide that same kind of freedom to the users. So if they wanted to buy this content, then it's available for them to download and install in their local games. So it's the Bazaar is the Forge's marketplace, but it's a Foundry marketplace. It's not just exclusive to Forge users. So I think that was really important. Some creators might choose to not make it available. They might prefer to have to keep their content exclusive, and that's their choice. They're relatively rare, so as you can see, everything is available for download so far. So some of them will still be only available for Forge users, but generally most of it is just free to download, for free to use, whether on the Forge or in your self-hosted environment once you purchase the content. Another thing that I wanted to release is the assets packs. So you can see some really great content here. That's assets packs that is not something that is part of a module. So you can see it's you don't even have like install, it's just enable. So all you do is to enable that content to make it available in your games. It's as simple as that. So you can see here we have great content like tokens and things like that, and we actually have a Twitter giveaway, and one of the prizes on top of a gift card, which you can redeem and use for either a subscription to the Forge or to buy content from the marketplace. And we had Wild Magic Surge, who decided to provide a gift card to the winners as well with his latest content. Whoops. So there you go. And you have these really great tentacles. How did he call it? Something horror? Black Tentacles horror. As well as one that I found actually pretty funny. It's the Mage Hand animations. So these are just assets. So you basically enable it, and once you've enabled it in your game, you can just go to the tiles menu in Foundry and just drag and drop the get access to those assets automatically. So that's really great. And this is something that we offer in the Forge that wasn't available, that isn't available for other users who aren't on the Forge, because it's not a module and things like that. But obviously it's basically just a zip file with PNGs, WebM, MP4 files, whatever. It's just it's just assets that you would install in your data. So that was like the third phase of the Bazaar. And as we did this, there's some realizations that happened about just how limited some of it still is. I mean, we've made extremely large bounds in the user experience of the user, obviously, but there's something that I also wanted to take care of, and it would be the user experience of the creators themselves. So there's still a lot to do to make that interface for the creators to create modules, to manage their version, to make sure that most of the pitfalls that us developers are kind of used to or gotten used to, that the creators who aren't necessarily developers, who are just artists, talented artists that draw or create map packs or whatever, they don't have to contend with those issues. I don't know if you also saw a little flash, but yeah, my GPU crashed again. I have these issues sometimes. It's annoying, but it happens. All right, so what's next? Let me see. Yeah, so that was the 3 phases that we did on the Bazaar, and we're going into phase 4, which is going to be a much bigger set of tools to help the creators provide content much more easily and create for Foundry. I actually like to go to the discussion forums here, into the announcements. We're not going to go through the changelog, but I just want to go through the feature roadmap of the Forge here, where you can follow basically what I want to do within the next year. We'll get to that in a moment, but it's interesting because I keep writing updates. So you can see this one is from July 2020, and I keep track of what was previously said. So you can see here is a copy of what I had originally planned for Bazaar. It might help keep track of progress. So you can go and look at what in July 2020 my plan for the Bazaar was. So what it was that I was thinking of and what I wanted to do. So you can see I made a temporary solution, blah, blah, blah. Not everyone is aware of it, blah, blah, blah. So, when you install many modules that take a lot of space. So you can see this was basically the phase 1. And then we worked on getting another update, and that was getting PayPal support. PayPal is a subject that is really... I don't know if it's going to be interesting to you. It definitely was interesting to me, because it was not something that was easy. Oh my god, my GPU keeps crashing. I don't know if you're all seeing this, but it just doesn't seem to work. Like, my browser just seems to fail. I don't know what's happening. Okay, so originally we supported Stripe, which is a payment processor for credit cards. But PayPal is a very popular, payments system that a lot of users want. And the issue is that using PayPal is not... So, I don't know, everything is frozen a little bit. Technical problems, people, we apologize. Pages unresponsive, exit pages. Is that gonna... Okay. I'm not mining Alaric. I am not. It's possibly NVIDIA broadcast, which is capturing from the camera to take care of the green screen. I think that's probably what's causing the issue. Because I don't generally have those kinds of issues, not to this extent. And this is the first time I'm using NVIDIA broadcast along with OBS. So, yeah. So getting support for PayPal, and you'll notice that Foundry VTT doesn't support PayPal still, even 1 year later. And the reason is because PayPal is, unfortunately, as easy it is to use for people like customers, because everybody has a PayPal account and it's just easy to log in and pay with it. From the developer side, it's extremely frustrating. It's very difficult to get it to function, to get it to work, to even just understand the API. It's just nearly impossible. And there's a lot of issues. You have APIs and documentations that are completely outdated, and then you have some that finally does what you want, and then you try them and you get an error that says this API is deprecated, you can't use it, and then you have to search again. It's really a mess. And then at the end of the day, when you compare between Stripe's interface that gives you actual statistics and numbers and a way to find your data, when it comes to PayPal, it's completely unmanageable. I mean, you have seen most likely your own PayPal account where you have like activity and you have a listing of all the expenses, all the things that you've paid with PayPal. That's basically the interface. So if a customer says, well, I've paid for this, and I have to check if the payment went through, I would just have to be scrolling through that. It's unmanageable. Whereas with Stripe, I can just put their email address and look at the invoice associated with it, or their subscription, things like that. So there's a big difference there, and just it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So one of the challenges that I had here is to be able to merge basically the PayPal functionality with Stripe's functionality. So I implemented a sort of custom backend implementation that merged the two, that allows me to use Stripe's tools to manage PayPal payments, and it works. It works, and it's really helpful. You can see I will spare everyone the headache of explaining how ridiculously bad PayPal is. Well, now I've explained it. But yeah, that was the next big milestone. Okay, can we just kill everything here? I don't even know if the music is still playing. Oh, and I crashed out of Discord. Yeah, apparently Discord is dead. Let me just restart Discord. I hope that restarts it. I guess not. Oh, there it is. Quit Discord. Okay. Then okay, so Discord is reopening. I'm just gonna have to restart Chrome as well. I think no choice there. And well, I guess I'll keep talking. At least the stream is still going, right? All right. So Chrome is restarting. Let me switch to BRB here. Well, all my windows reopen. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And we're back. So there it is. And there you go. So the music should be playing again now. All right. So what was I talking about? Yeah, basically the progress. And then one of the issues, the next thing that I had to handle was with regards to the assets library. It was a challenge. A lot of the things that I've done with regards to the Forge has been about responding to users' concerns and issues and things that I hadn't necessarily anticipated. Some I did, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to handle them immediately, but some of them I wasn't aware that those were going to be an issue until users started to complain about them. And one of those issues was with regards to the download, or rather the upload of assets. So when it came to uploading your asset, I was doing an upload one file at a time. The issue with that is that anytime I upload an asset, I had to write that information to the database to say, well, this user has this asset in this path, but any write to the database needs to be replicated across all of the regions. So we had Europe and Asia, and you saw the 250 millisecond ping. So you had to have write to the database that then gets replicated to a majority of replica database servers, one among them being Asia. So you have 250 millisecond ping. So you had to send the data to be replicated and then receive a response, and then tell that other database that yes, this data has now been replicated, you can consider it safe, that if the database crashes, that data is not lost. So there's a two-way communication, or rather a two message communication that needs to happen for the database. So it took 500 milliseconds basically to do every write to the database. And so regardless of the file size, even if it's a 1 kilobyte token image, it was 500 milliseconds just to write it to the database. And that was causing a lot of issues if you had 10,000 assets to upload, because your 10,000 now becomes 5,000 seconds, even if they are extremely small. So I had to redesign some of these things and add support for multiple files being uploaded at the same time and doing multiple writes to the database. And there was multiple challenges there that I'll spare you, but you can see it went through 4 phases just to get that assets revamp done. And one of the aspects of that assets revamp was to be able to have this new user interface, which is really great. And you can move things, you can select. One of the things that I'm really proud of is you can, for example, select a file from here and then go to someplace else and then move it to your destination, without having to move it one folder at a time. And you can even select a file from, like, multiple files from different folders and move them all together at once. So I found that to be really interesting, to be able to do that kind of feature, and that was part of my phase 4 of the assets library revamp. That happened in September of last year already. And then I think that's when I started to work on the game manager, the storyteller features, basically, which have been the very first idea that got me started doing the Forge. And being able to have a single URL for each of your worlds, being to switch from one to the other easily, that has been something that I found extremely important to getting a user experience for the user that just makes it simple to play your games without having to worry about, especially like if you have multiple groups, without having to worry about, oh, did I forget to return to setup and switch to the other world and things like that. Or if you have, or if you're a group that or like a group of friends and you have 2 different DMs playing, DMing for the group, and you don't want to give DM privileges to one of your players so that they can switch to their own game, and things like that. It started to get really complicated for some people, and I wanted to take care of that for them. So yeah, that's one of the big features, which took a rather long time, and it basically came almost, well, a little over a year after my initial start of writing the features for the Forge. And then what was I planning to do here? right, we were already in November at that point, and I wanted to take care of the Bazaar, and I wanted to take care of the DnD Beyond integration, and I wanted to take care of quite a few things, as well as an infrastructure revamp. And you can follow, all these posts in here. But then I had to slow down a little because things were moving really fast. But I had to slow down and just take my time with trying to stabilize the infrastructure design and make sure that we had some way to grow. And one of those tasks was to hire people to help me out, because I was starting to feel the burn of all these long days working on the forge every single day for almost a year. So it was an interesting thing for me personally, because I was a software developer, and I moved from that role of software developer into a business owner and an entrepreneur. And I've read the expression of saying the accidental entrepreneur, because I did end up being a business owner by accident. I mean, that wasn't the plan. The original plan with the Forge was to basically just give a way for Foundry VTT users to host their games easily without having to go through some of the complications that they had to go through before. So I started to hire some people to help me out, and that in itself was a rather complicated thing, because you have to onboard the new contractors and explain to them how I want things to be done, explain to them all the things that have so far been just in my head. So trying to start and document some of the things as well. So that forced a slowdown of the development in favor of stabilizing the core of the features and of the company, so that it can grow and scale better on the long term. And so yeah, that's kind of what slowed me down around the start of the year. And then finally we start to get into that rhythm of things flowing a little bit better, and I had a lot of help from Destiny Gray, who is here in the chat, who has helped basically make me not lose my mind, especially during the tax season and the incorporation process and everything. And so in the end, we went through that hurdle there, and finally I was freed up to work on the DnD Beyond integration, which we released recently. And if you haven't seen it, it just makes it very easy to take any kind of content here and just import it basically directly from DnD Beyond with just a few clicks. And what it does is it works as a tool that the Forge provides. So it's checking your access and then downloading the content on your behalf using your credentials basically, in order to download the content and convert it. So I've seen today actually in our Discord some questions surrounding the legality of it, whether it's piracy or not. What would be considered piracy is if after you import a content, then you export it and start to share it with other people. So that you should obviously never do, because you don't own that content. It's not yours to distribute to others. But from the perspective of the Forge, there is no copyright infringements here. I mean, even if I look at this image here and I open the image in a new tab, you'll see that it's actually an image that is from my own assets library, right? So if I go to my assets library here and DnD Beyond, images, book covers, and if I, for example, just delete this file from Curse of Strahd, then the image from Curse of Strahd here would simply not load. It would just fail. Now it's cached by the browser, obviously, but in a few seconds it would just not show anymore. Right? So let me actually see. So that's the image. Well, anyway, that's the thing, right? So it's not. I'm not distributing this content. I'm not even showing it to you. The list itself, you have to refresh it. You have to download that list on your own as yourself. And the Forge is basically just a tool to display that content for you. In the same way that Chrome is not doing piracy by letting you access DnD Beyond. It's just a tool that lets you see the content available from DnD Beyond. And if I press Ctrl P to print and save as a PDF, Chrome is not either doing piracy because it's converting from HTML to PDF. It's just a tool to convert from one format to another. So that's not an issue. When it comes to piracy or to copyright infringements, it's about the distribution of the content, so you can't distribute it. And so that's how we're able to do this. But even though there is no issue with regards to the copyright aspects of it, there is one issue that is with regards to using the DnD Beyond API, because and this is not a legal matter, this is a terms of service matter. The DnD Beyond terms of service say that you shouldn't be able to use their API without their authorization, and so that's why this is something that I've been working with DnD Beyond team since August of last year, and by working with them more specifically in discussions with them to make sure that I was not doing something that was going to annoy anybody. And I did receive the verbal affirmation from Adam Bradford before he left the company that it was something that he really liked seeing, and that he gave his approval for me to continue with this project. So it's not a problem with regards to breaking the terms of service. So there's that. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people are aware of that. I think I'll need to basically write a more detailed fact entry about that, perhaps, so people understand the implications around it. But that was one of the big features that I wanted to do, because being able to import something from DnD Beyond is really important for users. And I know that there was VTTA that was doing that, but that stopped working at some point. I know that Sebastian left, then came back, then left again, but it was always kind of in a limbo, so never really sure about the status. And I wanted something that I would be able to provide as a service that is integrated with the Forge, and that doesn't do doesn't require a difficult process to achieve for people who aren't necessarily tech savvy. So just a couple of clicks and you're done. So that's how I wanted to achieve it. That was the next big milestone. Now we talked about this this year, basically, of all these improvements, and we're going to be talking as well about the upcoming changes that I want to provide to the Forge. But before we do, I would like to invite Destiny Gray into the call with me. Oh, hi, Bree Met Guitar. That's, I think, Brian from the chat, right?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Let's see. Hi, Destiny. So this is Destiny Gray. Destiny is my executive assistant who is helping me. Let me just pop out this thing here. There he is. Hey, Destiny. And so he is helping me do everything that needs to be done because there's so much stuff to do that I can't do all of it on my own. So he takes care of a lot of it. So he's sharing his screen currently, and he's going to be showing off some of the Bazaar content that we want to show off on every one of these streams. So I'll let Destiny take over, and he'll explain what you're seeing. I'm just gonna make my camera
Sounds good.
view smaller. There you go.
Thank you, Kakaroto. So I'm pretty excited to be showing off these packages today because the Bazaar is probably my favorite feature of the Forge. Beyond the user manager, beyond the game manager, beyond integration even. I really always liked map makers and Patreon content on tabletops. So I've told this story a million times to Kakaroto before, and anybody who will listen to me for half a second. But I remember roughly 2 or 3 years ago now, I was a Patreon in the Forgotten Adventures Discord, and we have our own private channel there called the Explorers Chat, where people who subscribe for $10 per package to Forgotten Adventures get to chat and I guess brag about our hefty Patreon donations. And one thing I've always, and one day, 2 or 3 years ago, we had a person chiming in talking about their problems with Roll20 and how much it annoyed them. And they talked about how they were planning on creating their own tabletop. And I remember Strixon, the creator behind Forgotten Adventures, telling him, "Yeah, make sure to hit me up with it when you've got one made." And that individual's Atropos. And a few months later, we got Foundry Virtual Tabletop. So I see the Bazaar as a kind of both natural progression to Foundry and a kind of callback to its origins. A tabletop map fan giving back to the creators, and the Bazaar the Bazaar acting as a way for those creators to sell their content in a one-time release model. Because obviously I like Patreon. I'm subscribed to about 8 or 9 different tabletop Patreon services, but the nice thing about Bazaar is that it not only enables one-time purchases for users who are more comfortable with that, but it's also tied into the Forge platform. But at the same time, it's something that anyone can use if you use Foundry, because most packages, as Kakaroto mentioned before, can be purchased on the Forge and downloaded or installed for your own personal usage elsewhere. It's just obviously far more convenient to use it on the Forge. We're sure to get other marketplaces and competing services in the coming days, but honestly, I look forward to it because I think a rising boat helps everyone, and it also helps keep us on our toes because there's nothing quite innovating like being forced to become better, and I look forward to trying to beat out those other competing services. So today we're going to be showing off some content, and the first content we're starting on is the Arcane Research Laboratory map by Mark Drummond J. If you've seen his content before, he makes a lot of sci-fi and fantasy style maps. The kind that's really good for being system agnostic, the kind that you can use in Starfinder or Dungeons and Dragons alike. This one is pretty impressive, and I can see why he asked us to show off this one, because it's an amazing bacchanalia of different styles of content. Let me just scroll down and show you all of these maps. So he has, as you can see here via my screen share, I hope it's coming out well on the stream, he has both blank versions of these maps and filled up versions of these maps. But something he left out of the compendium there that I wish he had left in as a journal entry or something, but you can get the map on the Bazaar storefront, is that these maps are interconnected. you can see here that he labels where each map is supposed to take place. And so you can use this as a sort of guide to form a mega dungeon out of the maps from this pack. And so you can get some particularly impressive homebrew going here because it's just a massive amount of maps that can interlink together. It works so well in the VTT sphere with how we set it up too, because each map has its own little entrances and exits, but they're relatively self-contained. It just looks so nice. So I'm going to show off some of this map and some of its details. So the moment you enter here, you can see that you're in a chamber with the hallway slowly opening up into some kind of formation up ahead. And if you zoom in here, you can see the blue ambient light pulsing in and out, glowing and revealing poor Nosferatu here. He's out in the open. And I just love this lighting. You can see here that the lights are very carefully placed, as are the walls. And so that also lets you customize these lights a little, because you can also change the animation, turn them on or off, modify the color a bit, whatever you want to do with the map. It's the kind of thing I love as a homebrew dungeon master, because I could see myself just turning this into an old workshop that the big bad evil guy is taking over, and that magical inventions or monsters are pouring out of. But as the players investigate it, they come to terms that the big bad evil guy wasn't the original creator of the map, of this laboratory. Something else was here before, something that developed arcane magic beyond their reckoning, beyond anyone's comprehension. Why isn't that there anymore? What happened to the original creators? That's the kind of homebrew I imagine with a map like this. And so we can see here, as you come out, there's just these big sculptures, and he was kind enough to include these nice little pop-outs. So you can see here, like, what an actual, like, view of the item is. For instance, this big statue here in the middle, well, this is what it looks like in a frontal view. And I think, and that just goes to illustrate how cool and how many things he thought of for how DMs might want to use this content. But maybe you want to add some more stuff, and maybe you want to add some animated tiles, and that's where our second package comes in, which is the animated lighting package. Now, to reiterate, you can view all of these on the Bazaar. I've pasted a link in chat a little further up. And so we'll look at the Meditating Monkeys animated lighting pack. It's a really fun set of different animated tiles here. You can see here that they've made some maps to place the animated tiles down on, and to create examples of dynamic lighting for those tiles. And I just really love that, because it's a great way of enhancing any maps, like, say, the map we were just on by Mark Drummond. We can just copy a tile that we want to bring over to the Arcane Research map. We can paste it down, and then we can go back to copy the dynamic lighting from that tile. And so it just enhances this package even further, beyond just a way of delivering assets for people who aren't on the Bazaar, because it's much harder to install content from asset packs than from compendium modules like this when you're not on the Forge. But this just adds an enhancement that brings it beyond that, because you can copy examples already made for you, and it's just incredible. And then you can also see other examples like these firewalls here, where maybe you want to set up like burning wreckage to block the way through certain parts of the dungeon to kind of guide your players along a little more. Maybe you can have these act as like portals to hell or something for your players, which I love to do, because I love to throw horrible things at my players. And I just say all this just to reiterate how iterative you can be with content, and how much you want to iterate with it, because you might be able to install default WotC adventures now, and I love them, especially Lost Mines of Phandelver. But I don't think you get quite as incredible as customizing your experience a little. That I think that's when you really begin to evolve as a DM, and stuff like this map or this or these tiles just to enhance the default experience. I think that helps bring it to another level. And right now, the best way to do this is by purchasing content on the Forge. I also recommend checking out not only Mark Drummond Jr., I mean, but also checking out Meditating Monkey, because not only do they make animated tiles like that, they make these very large map collections that aren't quite as specific as Mark Drummond's maps, but that has a strength all its own because it makes them easier to homebrew. And and as I've stated before, I just love homebrewing. Now, the final package I did want to show off was the Loot Tavern's Magic Items Volume 2 pack. This is meant to be a more generic uh, content package for items where it's not specifically themed off anything like their other packs. They've been pretty lucky in our drawing for content for what we show off during our live streams, but it is good content, so I don't particularly mind that too much. They're also interesting because they're one of the few creators making a lot of items and releasing them on Patreon. A lot of the map makers we see are, well, map makers. There aren't a lot of item creator Patreons for RPGs. So I have a bit of a weak spot for them as a result.
I
So
remember
you can
showing Volume One a couple of weeks ago. That had some really interesting items there that uh, I loved.
absolutely. I forget if that's the Mad Science pack or if it's the Eldritch item pack that you're
It was the
talking about.
Eldritch items.
Yes, I just love the Eldritch, and it's perfect for any campaign. I actually need to remember to buy that Eldritch one as a gift for a former DM I have who's still running a game I had to drop out of. He runs this very Eldritch style campaign, and I think he would just love all of those convenient items to use because I believe you can download it off the Bazaar. And so he could just import this into his own rinky dinky self hosted games and he would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
So so for instance, I run a custom homebrew world for one of my groups that's very heavily inspired by Mesoamerican societies, and so perhaps you want to use the ceremonial macahuitl, uh, this weapon made from obsidian meant to cut into people, and the obsidian shatters when it hits people, typically. But this is a magical obsidian, so it's particularly sharp, but it's not going to shatter easily like typical macahuitls, I believe they're pronounced. Or maybe you want to throw some special new custom spells if you want to get really crazy, which he has created within this pack. Maybe you want to throw a puzzle in one of these dungeons that the players have to solve, like a cipher, and their reward are these custom spells. If there's one thing I love to do, I love to throw puzzles at players that are beyond a basic skill check. I like to use skill checks to enhance puzzles and give them hints, but I still like to have the players solve the puzzles. It's a very quintessential D&D 2.0 and 3.0 experience, really. And then this Mace of the Torchbearer. Let me show that art. When I think of Mace of the Torchbearer, I'm just getting PTSD flashbacks from my Vestal dying in the Darkest Dungeon video game. But it is much more of a steampunk item than you would see in Darkest Dungeon. So maybe the perfect item for this map, really, given how sci-fi it is. Um, Something I like to do with items like that is introduce them with an enemy. The enemy is wielding this, and so the players get to see a preview of all its cool powers.
I feel like
That's
there's a futuristic Aztec vibe to the design there. That looks absolutely gorgeous.
It absolutely does. And really, that's all I wanted to show off today, but I hope I've emphasized how cool the Bazaar is and how it collects all this content. Yes, you can subscribe to Patreons to get this content. We're not trying to hide that at all. We try to work with Patreon creators with stuff like that. However, we want to make it in a convenient fashion for people using the Forge and try to improve discoverability of their content because we think one-time purchases by users are better than the users never subscribing on Patreon and seeing all these cool items that's set up already for Foundry, and that's perfect for your games. And so I think that's about it. I'll throw it back to you, Kakaroto.
Thank you, Destiny. And you're absolutely right. Most are all of these creators are also on Patreon, and um, I know that there's just so much content there that may not be targeting Foundry. So being able to get that discoverability through the Bazaar is really interesting, because you can see what will actually work for your games, and you get, I mean, it's not the same between browsing a Patreon of someone where you can't get any kind of preview or text, that it just says subscribe to unlock, versus being able to see these screenshots, these videos, and being able to read the description of that single item, that single package that you might want to purchase for your specific game, right? And at the same time, you can search potentially with specific search terms for something that you want, and it will give you the results between all the various creators that have provided something that might fit with your needs, instead of Patreon, that you can't really search there for like a specific Aztec pyramid kind of content. You will most likely search for a specific Patreon creator. So it's very different. And I know that a lot of people, even if they just want a single thing, they might not subscribe on Patreon, because they would prefer to just do a one-time purchase, get the content that they want, rather than potentially subscribe to a creator more long term. So yeah, I think that that's a big advantage there for the Bazaar. And thank you, Destiny, for showcasing that. I think we'll do that format from now on for the future, where we'll have Destiny as a guest here to show us what he found in the Bazaar, and show it to the users. So, moving on from the Bazaar and the retrospective on the year, and the various progress that we've made, I want to talk about some announcements, right? So when we announced the anniversary stream, we also talked about having a announcement to make, and maybe it's time to make that announcement. What do you think? Let me see here. I just want to show a new feature. I think I probably should have done this while Destiny was talking, but sometimes I'm an idiot. So let me see. Yeah, I probably should have. Now it's maybe a little late. Well, I wanted to show you all one of the features that that we've released, that lets you upgrade your Foundry VTT version. So if I'll do it on the dev server, because I have a bit more ability to change things there. I'm just going to to hide my screen for a second, well, I'll go and bring and do a little change in the database. No big deal. No big deal. Let me see if I do this. Okay. So, let's go back here. All right. Let me see. So what I want to do is basically show you one of the changes that we've done. So you can see here, last Foundry version used on this release channel is 0.7.9. So one of the changes is that now if you are on the latest beta version or latest alpha version, it will record what version of Foundry was the last one that you launched while being on that release channel of Foundry VTT, so that when you make the change, not when we make the change, when a release happens, okay, what happens there is you would be able to see that the new release of Foundry has been made. So let's just hope that this works. Oh no, this is not working. I am messing up my test here. If you don't mind, I'll talk about some other stuff in the meantime. It's fine, and then I'll show this in a bit. So we have, like I said, we have an announcement to make, and one of those announcements is that you would probably have noticed in the recent weeks, there was some price increase announced by some other VTT platform, as well as some other gaming platforms. And here at the Forge, we also realized that we needed to do an increase, but it's going to be a quota increase. So starting from today, the assets libraries quotas are going to change and become round numbers on the like multiples of 5. So yes, I was trolling there a little bit. So you will have now at the game master level, you will have 5 gig of assets library quota, and storyteller will get 10 gig, and the world builder will get 20 gig, and the assets increase extras are going to move from 3 gig to 5. So yeah, that's the increase that we are being forced to do. I mean, everybody else is doing an increase, so we had to do the same thing. But yes, so I want to do this right now. So if you will allow me to put you on a bit of a intermission screen, then I will push the update to the servers live so that it's going to affect everybody, and you will all be able to enjoy the new change. All right. So production and so I have pushed the update to the servers. Okay. second. So I have pushed the update to the servers. They should be running the update. Hopefully nothing breaks. I'll check in a second that everything is still working. But once the update is pushed, oh okay, it's already available. So you can see now 5 gig, 10 gig, and 20. And if I go to my account here at World Builder, it says that I have a limit of 20 gig. So there you go. We didn't break it. We didn't break it. It works. So the European server is probably also getting updated. And then the Asian server is also going to be updated. It's now supposedly running in the background, one server at a time. So I might potentially, you know, reload and then end on one that says 3 gig, but yeah, it's because it's load balancing, does one at a time and things like that. So, but yeah, the update has been pushed. And so congratulations to everybody. We will announce it. Other than the dev stream, obviously, we'll do a short clip of the announcement, and we'll post it in the forums and things like that for those who haven't followed us here, so that they can know how come their quota suddenly dropped by a few percent there. So the reason we are doing this is simply because throughout the year there has been a lot of improvements that I've done. Obviously, I've talked about the optimizations that I had to do to the assets library in the last year, and so as part of those optimizations, there's all sorts of things that happened in such a way to allow the costs to be decreased from our side. At the same time, there was always the you know, some people are always going to be consuming a lot more bandwidth or a lot more storage than others, and overall, on average, I can look back at the whole year and be able to have a much clearer picture of what is the average bandwidth used by the customers, what is the average storage used, what is the actual cost to me, etc., and then give back by doing this increase to more accurately represent my own costs versus what had to be basically estimates last year when this whole thing was just starting. So now it's based a bit more on real data rather than estimates, and that allows us to give back to this community of DMs and players who have supported us for the whole year by choosing us. And so yeah, I'm really happy to finally be able to increase this quota. I mean, 3 gig is generally considered to already be generous, especially if you consider that you know, we don't count quotas for the modules and things like that. And just FYI, I was looking at it yesterday, and from the Bazaar, just in terms of systems and modules, there's over 40 gigabytes of data there that is available to install practically without using any of your data. So, you know, that's technically like you have 40 gig plus the 5 gig for your own custom assets. So it's pretty good, and I'm happy to do that. So that was the first announcement, and it's not the only one. So I do have a second announcement to make, and that second announcement, I will go and do it. I mean, it's I'm not announcing a release, I'm announcing a plan. So I will go again and hide my OBS for a second while I go fiddle a little bit in the database. And just making sure. So the Asian servers are currently getting updated, by the way. The update wasn't done, but it's currently on the way. So that's nice. All right. So what I wanted to do, and I hope just doing this now is not going to break anything. But I want to do a new I wouldn't say release, but rather a new change to some of the stuff that we have. All right, so I just did the change in the database. Hopefully it doesn't break anything else, but here it is. There you go. So Australia region, it's currently not available. It is currently not available because it's something that I'm still working on, and it will take some time to set up everything. But I am announcing that we will be releasing a new region that is going to be just for Australia. So basically separating the Asia and Oceania servers into Asia and a separate region just for Oceania, which would be Australia. And this is because we've had multiple reports of people in Australia having very bad lag between the Singapore data center and Australia, because depending on how the wires are connected, people in Australia might go to use a connection that goes to the West Coast United States before going back to Singapore. So we've had people in Australia having to use the North American East region, as it was faster than the Asia and Oceania server. Like 450 millisecond ping here versus 200 here. And that's absolutely ridiculous. So even though that will mostly affect your connection to the Foundry itself, that's still something that at those numbers of over 200 milliseconds, you will start to notice it. So I wanted to bring it closer to the Australian people, because we have quite a few people in Australia who are using the Forge, and we want their connections to be fast. So that's something that is in the works. So it's currently not available, but it is being worked on, and this is going to be our initial move to the new data centers, to a new service provider. So this will also serve to test a new infrastructure design, and every other region will be moving to that new design that should be even more optimized within the next few months. Yeah, I won't be making my own CDN, but Alaric does have under his bed one of the CDN servers. We are sure of it. Maybe it's in the closet. I'm not sure if it's under the bed. I haven't really tried to track it down. But yeah, I'll need to update this because 49 is old news now. Okay, so that was our second announcement. And finally, let me see. What we're going to be doing now is the Twitter giveaway. What do you think? We should probably do the Twitter giveaway at this point, right? All right. So let me see, where is my... There you go. We're going to do this live, so let me move this here. So we're using Pika to load the entries, and we'll trigger the closing. We device to do so. All right. So this will close the Twitter giveaway. Hold to load. So hold to load. And okay, there's a few people. So entries of 71 entries. How do we do? So it's make a draw. Is that it? Is that it, or is that not it? I don't know how. So drawing, waiting. Okay. I hate when I don't know the interface of this thing. All right, I'll move this to a private window and just see what I should be doing here. So 5 winners. Save. Okay, so we changed some of the things. Okay, so I just changed some of the stuff. So 5 winners. I just needed to retweet and respond to it. So we'll just do final draw now. Okay. Are you all ready? Only one final draw is possible per contest. Once started, you will not be able to do another on this contest. That's why we advise you before check the contest setting, perform test draws. Do you confirm that you want to start the final draw? Only do one full draw per contest, even if it's a test. Okay, so this is the draw. 5 winners. Just want to see if someone is gonna tell me, wait, did I forget anything? Okay, nobody's saying anything. All right, hold to start. Let's go. This is the first time I'm using Pika. I don't know how it works exactly, but whoa, wow. Okay, we got 5 winners here. So we have Brother Sharp, Kashina Toe, Reps Yacht, Dark Star Raiders, and Don't Kinder. Alaric saying, wait, do it. Such a troll. All right, so we do have our 5 winners. Congratulations to our 5 random winners from the Twitter giveaway. Brother Sharp, Kashina Toe, Reps Yacht, Dark Star Raiders, Tabletop, and Don't Kinder. You can see that it was all done live to make sure that there's no cheating or anything of the sort. And all of these 5 winners are getting both a $20 gift card as well as a gift card for Wild Surge Magic latest asset pack. So I will just show it to you again. I did show it a little earlier. Where is it? Oh, yeah, okay. Animated spells. There it is. So you have the mage hands, various mage hands animated assets, as well as the dark tentacles horror, which look absolutely stunning. All sorts of tentacles. So these are good assets that you can use in your games. And I think especially the tentacles are going to be are probably not fans, like I forgot the right word, but they're gonna make some of these winners in the Japanese community very happy, because we all know that Japanese people love tentacles, right? All right, and we do have 3 people from the Japanese community who won the the draw, so that's cool. All right, I will let Destiny. Yeah, I went there, Destiny. What can I say? it's it's not. Is it inappropriate? I don't know if it's inappropriate. um, I mean, what? It's a delicacy, right? You know, with the sushis and stuff. That's what I meant, right? Okay. But yeah, like with regards to the gaming and stuff, it's something that is recurring. So there you go. And now we can get to the other giveaway, right? Let me just make sure that I'm not forgetting anything here. So we do have. Yeah, I think that was basically the last item on my list of things to talk about. So we are going to be doing also a giveaway here on Twitch. So stay here and we'll take care of that. Actually, I'm not sure I remember how was I supposed to do the Twitch giveaway. It was Moobot, wasn't it? Yeah. So Moobot is supposed to do a giveaway. I think Destiny already set it up, or is currently setting it up. You have it in this notes. Yeah. All right. Let's give that a try. Let me see. No, I can read. It just doesn't say Moobot. I was trying to remember. So giveaway, anniversary, blah blah blah. Anyone can participate. So is it already on? So is the oh, there you go. So yes, it is. So you need to type hashtag anniversary. There you go. So you need to type hashtag anniversary. The giveaway, I thought I had to first enable it, but it was already enabled. So we'll let all of you do the enter the giveaway. These will also be 5 gift cards of $20 each that will be given to our viewers here for the giveaway. In the meantime, while we let people do the hashtag anniversary to get themselves entered into the giveaway, I think we can go to a Q&A portion. So we'll be answering questions, and at the end of the Q&A, then we can do the draw for the Twitch giveaway. How does that sound? All right. So I will. Let me see. I will do. All right. I will tweet. Um. I will tweet about the um the giveaway so people can know. Twitter giveaway. We're getting ready to do another 5 gift card giveaway on our Twitch stream. Join us now to participate. Enter by typing anniversary. Draw will be after Q&A session. And twitch.tv DM. There you go. Right now. Okay, tweeted. I think Destiny has a game that they're about to get to, so I'm gonna have to handle all the questions on my own. Oh my god. But I can't believe that it's almost been 2 hours now that we've been live. All right, let's see. Anniversary. What do you want with the Forge in a year? Yes, that's a good question, Destiny. I mentioned a bit about that with the feature roadmap. There's a few things that I want to work on. It might not be specifically for the year. It might be for the next 6 months. It might take a little bit more than a year. It's not like there's no specific deadlines for these things, but I want to continue obviously to work with the DnD Beyond integration and finalize that. There's still a lot of work to be done there, obviously, not just with the conversion, but also with the addition of the paired games. And this is something that I've mentioned before, and I want to reiterate it. But we are working on setting up a freely available module for Foundry VTT that would contain the prepared contents for the adventures on DnD Beyond. So this would allow users to participate as community contributions to improving that data, but also it would allow users who do not want to purchase the content from the Forge to potentially just get the prepared walling, and then they can add their own content to it, as well as making sure that we have a single consistent spec for the walls, the lighting, the token placements, and things like that between all the various projects that are doing DnD Beyond integration, because we want to be working with Mr. Primate, who is doing the DDB importer work, so that we would have a single data for the prepared DnD Beyond adventures that we would both be using, both Mr. Primate's DDB importer as well as the Forge itself. So it would be something that that would be really good, and we've already started discussing this with Mr. Primate, and it's going well. So we'll have more to announce on this soon, but this is one of the aspects that we want to be working on. Then we talked already about polish and stability. Um, I mean, the forge is very stable lately. There's small polish stuff. And what I mean by polish and stability is more about that. Like, for example, let's say um, you are in the Bazaar and you have a bunch of modules that you want to update. Then you would click on the update all. Well, now there isn't, but you would click on the update all button, and um, you would suddenly have a list of your available modules to update, and being able to click a checkbox to say don't update this one. So that's, quality of life improvements. To me, that counts as polish. There's the fact, for example, that if I scroll and I want to get to those links at the bottom, I can't because it keeps jumping. So that's a little thing that's annoying. That's part of the polish. For me, that is part of all of that. Um, there's a few things like how these look extremely long sometimes depending on the content. Maybe we can improve that. Being able to, let's say in the assets library, you have your quota here. You upload something, then it would update these values. I think they update, but I'm not entirely sure. But that's something that goes, in my opinion, within the polish portion. If you use a dark theme, this white background behind this icon, then it becomes a little bit more obvious if it's a dark theme. So you can see those little checkbox icons that aren't transparent. So that I find to be annoying. So that's another portion of the polishing that I mentioned. So there's a few things like that. And that all goes, in my opinion, within the polish and stability. So there's a few examples here, right? So yeah, in the game manager, for example, you go to the game manager and you change this, then it just shows you this little icon here for save settings, which is not necessarily immediately visible, right? So that's, small changes like this, because there's a limit to how much you keep expanding and adding new amazing features and things of the sort, because that's what we've been working on for the past year. It's to make the forge better and better and improve and unique features and things like that. But at one point you have to just slow down and not think about new features, but think about the existing ones and making sure that these existing features function the way that they should, that there aren't any bugs that have been reported that we forgot to handle, and things like that. Demiplane integration is another really exciting thing that I want to be working on. We were in discussion with the Demiplane developers. Demiplane, for those who are not aware, is a really great matchmaking service for DMs and players. So it allows you to find groups to play with. So it matches you based on your preferences of gameplay versus the DM's preferences and style of DMing. So that's something that works really well, and they have a ton of quality of life improvements to make the experience really good, and I've loved seeing what they've done. So I have plans to integrate our looking for group feature, basically, which we don't have other than through the forums, with Demiplane as the providers of that matchmaking service. We also have a website redesign that is in progress that we hope to reveal soon. One of the first steps that we did, because I am aware that the main site of the Forge is lacking when it comes to information, to being attractive to people who aren't aware of what Foundry is or what the Forge is. But we did write this little page here, rather fast, that explains all of the amazing features that we have and what makes us unique. So that's great, but that's just one page. What I want is a redesign of the website, changing the background to something that looks better, changing the flow of this is more about the non-signed in visitors, so they can get a better view of what the Forge is and what it provides, as well as improving the website in general for users to find the information that they might need. The Bazaar interface for creators, which we've discussed earlier today, and one of the biggest features would be the time machine feature for World Builder subscribers. So this is something that I've been promising since the start, and I've still not delivered on that promise, but it is coming. It's definitely something that is a priority for me to implement. It's just between the moment that I had the idea and I definitely wanted to implement that, and then when I started to design it, I realized that there are some challenges there that are going to be a bit more difficult to resolve than I originally anticipated, and so that's why it's been less of a priority to tackle right away, because there are other high priority things, but at the same time, it's not been forgotten. It's still in the back of my mind, and I occasionally revisit the design and how it's going to be implemented. So there's always some progress there, because the longer I wait, the longer I keep brainstorming that internally and coming up with solutions to the problems that I have now, and eventually it will just unlock in my brain. I'll know exactly how to do it in the most efficient way, because obviously I could always do it. It's just not going to be a great user experience necessarily, so we want to have a good user experience. I was locked out. What did I do? Oh, probably Destiny logged out, which logged me out of the forums. But yeah, if I just do this, I'll get back logged back in. All right, so that was one big question that I answered. Let me see, what do you want to forge in a year? I've got a lot of catching up to do. How many regions do you foresee coming up? And do you have breakdown on percentages of different tiers of subscribers? And when are you giving Destiny a raise? Okay, so first question, how many regions I foresee coming up? I don't foresee many regions coming up. I thought that 3 was going to most likely be my limit, because every time that I add a region, it adds some complexity. It adds a lot of complexity, actually, and that's something that's I don't want to have too many, because as you saw earlier when I was doing the update for the new assets quota, it took quite a while before it was doing the Asian servers, because there's a lot of stuff that has to happen in the background there, taking care of each server in each region, plus the security implications, the setup. It's a rather complicated process, and doing an update to a server, to a region, means a lot of work. So there's the Ceph cluster, there's a lot of things that have to happen there, and I'm not keen on doing too many regions, as it will just exponentially make it harder to just resolve any kind of problems that might happen. So there's the thing. If I have breakdown on percentages of different tiers of subscribers, I don't. I probably could have that information from Stripe, but I haven't really looked at it. For sure, the most popular one is going to be the game master tier, but I think storyteller, world builder, we're maybe at 1/3. Um, I'm not entirely sure. And when I'm giving Destiny a raise, well, he's a contractor, so he sets his pricing. So if he decides that he needs to have a raise, then he'll tell me what his new pricing is, what his new fees are, and I will decide if I accept his new pricing. That's more of how it works because he's not an employee, he's a contractor, so I can't actually give him a raise. All right, so Brian asking another question. So I have a question. Will there be a way to move existing users from one of my worlds on the Forge to another? I'm not sure what you mean by moving an existing user. I mean, you can invite the same players in two worlds, but if you're talking about like an actual Foundry user, like how we can in Foundry basically right click and do export data for a character or a journal entry or even a scene, then being able to do the same thing with a user so that they get the same hotbar and all of that, that's a very good question that I hadn't even considered. It's something that most likely Foundry would have to implement from their side. Yeah. All right. My example is... Oh, you gave an example. As an Adventure League DM, I have one world for Munchies, another for Border Kingdoms. Players can switch between the two. Well, you have... Players can switch between the two. I'm guessing you're talking potentially here about actors, about the character sheet itself. In that case, you can already do like export data and then import it on the other world if you want to keep your actors synchronized between different ones. So I wonder if I'm going to be able to follow all the questions fast enough. All right, looks like Mubat should send you a whisper. 10 minutes. Go multi that. Would it be okay to copy content from the CM Adventure world into a current running world? Have some plans for running some of the CM adventures in my current world. Yes. So Candlekeep Mysteries, or any other content from DnD Beyond, you can do an import, and when you want to import it, you could say convert it as a module. Once you convert it as a module, then you should be able to do a simple import of the scenes and the journal entries into your existing world. Willen DK. So that should help you. Will the Forge support Neener? I don't know what Neener is, and since Destiny is asking the question, I'm guessing he's trying to troll. When you feel stuck with a million proxy connection reconnect issue, people get screwed when they see scared when they see the error. That's part of the right. So when will you fix the 1 in a million proxy connection reconnect issue? So that's going to be part of the polish and stability issue that I mentioned as part of the roadmap. All right. Make sure to screenshot the Twitch giveaway winners or copy them down so I can PM them on Twitch tomorrow. Thanks. Being a little late. Thanks for streaming. Oh, so that's Meditating Monkey. Hi, Monkey. Question: will there be a way to preview maps and assets in secure preview windows? Second, when will have a sale for the Forge subscription? Third, will there be a list view installed modules? And is there a way to become a beta tester so people can help out? Okay, all good questions from Danaman. So will there be a way to preview maps and assets in a secure preview windows? So the map packs and the asset packs, usually it's up to the creator to define the previews. So you would have these kinds of previews, right? So you can already see what the map pack contains. Um, or in this case, the asset pack. For map packs, it's basically the exact same thing, right? So you can look at one, and then you have, here's your map packs. Here's what's in the content, um, and so there's already a way to do that for the creators, and they can do it, and it's up to them to decide what they show. Um, Second, when we'll have a sale for the Forge subscription. I don't know about a sale for the Forge subscription. I did one last year for the Boxing Week, basically the end of the year. But generally speaking, when you look at the plans that we offer on the Forge, um, it's pretty much, you could consider it, when you look at all the value that the Forge provides, you could technically consider it that we have year-long 50% off on all the plans. So that's sort of how I'm considering it. There's not really a ton of margin to provide sales, because I am already trying to provide the least expensive or the most affordable pricing for everybody. So that's why I don't really think too much about providing sales, because it's already affordable. Will there be a list view of installed modules? That's a good question. I haven't thought of that. Please provide that in the feature suggestions on Discord. Is there a way to become a better tester so people can help out? Talk to me on Discord as well, and we'll see if there's something. Generally speaking, I do a lot of testing, and then when it's ready, then I ask the moderators on the Forge on the Forge Discord to give it a try and see if they can find any issues, and then it becomes publicly available within a few days. Usually I go through a lot of that testing myself, but I think having more testers is always going to be a good thing. Hello, Eternal Mana, nice to see you. A reminder to everyone in Twitch that you can type #anniversary to be entered into our giveaway. All right, let me see. The asset creators have full control of the preview. So Alaric already answered. DnD Beyond thing. Beta testers have you seen an issue where we have secure Foundry well with preview in worlds. You can see more details. Added one new entry. Trying to catch up on the chat. Yeah, as Alaric said, if you have the map in Foundry, then it's easy to right click export. So that's not something that would be available for as a way to preview the content, because it's just too easy to export that data, and we don't want people to abuse that to get content without duly paying the creators for their work. Eternal Mana, what was that thing about quotas being changed? Well, for those who missed it, we have changed, as you can see, the SS library quotas from 3 gig to 5, from 9 to 10, and from 18 to 20. So we are now running on multiples of 5. Same thing for the assets quota increase extra. It's now 5 gig per extra purchased. So this is a way to give back to the community, to the users who have trusted the Forge for the whole year, and who have been using the Forge, allowing us to both look at the optimizations that we've done throughout the year to decrease our own costs, as well as looking at the actual averages and statistics of a full year of services rather than basing pricing based on statistics. So that allowed me to give back and increase the quotas for everybody. Um, so yeah, that was our big announcement for the anniversary. Let's see. Something about Asian servers being slow to update or whatever. So for Eternal Mana, the question about the Asian servers being slow to update, it's not that they are slow to update. It's just that I ran the update um, to the servers to provide this new change in the quotas, and that update ran for a while, and it's always that way. I mean, it's there's what, maybe 25, 30 servers that the Forge currently runs across 3 regions. It depends on the time of day. Obviously, during peak hours, it's even more than that. And so, to go through one after the other and do the update, it takes quite a bit of time. And so, it's usually North America, then Europe, then Asia in the script, in the way that the updates are running. So that's why it took a while to get to the Asian servers. But it's not about the Asian servers themselves being slow. It's just the rolling update that takes a while. Excuse me, but did we do the Twitter giveaway already? Yes, we did. And here are the winners: Brother Sharp, Kashina, Tho, Repsiot, Darkstar Raiders, and Donskinder. Those are the 5 winners of the Twitter giveaway, but we do currently have a Twitch giveaway. So if you type hashtag anniversary, then you will be entered in the Twitch giveaway. Let me see what else. It was indeed done. The winner will be coming out tomorrow. Yes, winners will be coming. Sadly, I don't have the list right now. Samir Abru, hi, coming from Atropos Live. Welcome. Oh, I see that Atropos finished his stream, so I guess that's why people started coming to visit us. Welcome everybody who was watching the Foundry VTT anniversary stream. We do have such a tight integration between Foundry and the Forge that we even have our anniversaries at the same date. So inevitably, we had to have streams that were happening at the same time. But yeah, Atropos finished his first, so welcome everybody who just joined us from there. And we are running a giveaway for a $20 gift card. So type hashtag anniversary in the Twitch chat to be entered into the giveaway. All right. So I just put my. Would it be better if I start uploading stats and screen? So let me see. There are 5 gig available now. Was on 89% just some hours ago, and that dropped to around 50%. Did you change the assets library quota? Yes, we did. That was the big announcement, and I just talked about it like 5 minutes ago. So I'm so late, I think, on catching up to the chat, or maybe not that much. All right. That's so awesome. I am glad people are liking this. Will there be more potential optimizations of the plans in the future? Are you fairly happy with how things are now? Yes, I am definitely happy with how things are now. There will always be optimizations that can happen. I am a freak when it comes to optimizations. I love doing that. I love finding that 1 millisecond delay that I could get rid of. So I will keep looking for things to optimize to just make things run as smooth as possible. I do have some ideas, and we'll see. We'll see how we can improve that. I can already say that the 0.8.5, or at least the 0.8 series of Foundry itself, has a pretty big improvement in server side RAM usage, and also it's about twice as fast to load the worlds. So this is I can probably show you where is it? So if I look at memory, I think it's a closed one. I'm not sure if I can find it. I don't know if I would be able to find the right one. RAM usage. There was an issue, and Andrew worked on that, and I did a full test. Let me see if I can find my own activity. Maybe I can find where I did the comment, because I commented recently on it. Well, I don't know, but there is an issue. I'll post the link at some point. There was an issue created on Foundry's issue tracker that lists that talks about memory optimizations, and I did an extensive testing between 0.7.x with 0.8.5, I believe. And I did with garbage collector being exposed to the node process and without. I did multiple tests of loading the game and reloading, and I noticed basically for large games you had an improvement of at least twice as fast, from like 35 seconds to load the game to 16 seconds. And that was a game that was using nearly 2 gig of RAM server side, and then it had dropped with 0.8 to something around 800 megabytes. So there's some improvements there, and this is all the work done by Andrew, not by me. But that was something that I can already say 0.8 is going to be better in performance on that front. And that was something that I was worried about originally, and I filed the issue with Foundry in order to help get that improved potentially. All right. Let's see. Continuing to read on these questions. Was considering upgrading, but now there is no need. Okay, so I need to lower it again. Damn it. Just kidding. No worries. Obviously, that's one advantage. With the higher quotas, then you don't necessarily need to upgrade just for that extra few gigabytes of assets quota. I want people to upgrade for the features. Basically, that's the I think the most important portion of what the Forge provides. It's really all about the features that are unique to the storyteller tier, which is the game manager and the user manager. And obviously you have more quota here, but you can also increase that with extras. But I think like the storyteller features, that's the Forge experience, right? And that's something that if you want that experience, then you should upgrade. But now with 5 gig quota, then you shouldn't need to, just because of the assets size. Which Forge employee do you like the most? I would say Younes Alawi is the Forge employee that I like the most, considering that it's the only employee, right? So, yeah. Force more money out of you. Can't win them all. Failed opportunity. Happy birthday, Forge. Thank you, Eternal Mana, 40 minutes till I'm 41. I just take the quota change as an early gift. Yes, happy birthday as well, Rotten Ronnie. All right, when will you start working out and living the millionaire life? Well, I guess I'll start working out first, and then the millionaire life is gonna be when I become a millionaire. I'm not there yet. Um, but yeah, I am taking care of myself a bit more. I assume that's what the real question is about. And I have started to take care a bit more of myself, um, taking care of resting, spending some time away from the computer, going out for walks, um, uh, working out a little bit of exercise. I'm going slowly because I mean, I've spent over a year basically just glued to this chair 24/7, or at least like 16-hour a day, and then sleeping. So I do have some health issues related to that. So I am thinking of doing some physiotherapy to get myself out of that, basically. And I started working out a little and taking care of myself. So yeah. Bookmark Kubernetes for absolute beginners. Now we know he's got the skill. Yes. I should not have shown what my bookmarks are. That is such a leak of private data. Because now you all know everything in my bookmarks. This is bad. Oh man. Okay. But yeah, I did learn about Kubernetes online. uh, but I did subscribe to a course to learn about Kubernetes, and there's still a lot to learn. There's always a lot to learn. Let's see. Feel free to ask answer anything you ask. Well, almost anything. And Alaric is trying to push that limit of how much a question can be trolly and still get an answer. But it's fine. We love you for that. Pretty sure you got a new chair at some point. Yes, I did get a new chair. My previous one was absolutely horrible, horribly noisy anyway. So I got a new one. It's a bit more comfortable. It's clearly not as noisy, but it's also not entirely as comfortable as before. So a little annoying, but it's okay. Let's see. Yeah, the features aren't a selling point to me just yet. I just like to have all my token music online, so if I'm getting to the new 5 gig quota, I'll spend some extra to get that up. Didn't know about that possible tutorial, you mentioned it. And get well soon. Thank you, Rotten Ronnie. And yes, I mean, if you don't like the features of Storyteller, then you don't have to upgrade to it. That's my philosophy. And you know, if you're saving some money on your subscription, then you'll have some money to spend on the Bazaar, for example, and spending that money with some of the creators that can make your game better, easier to prepare and stuff. Could I have a chance to meet you in real life? That is a good question. It depends where you are. I live in Montreal. I would be happy to meet up with some people if they are close by. I've actually discovered recently a Foundry module developer called Sven, who did the Moulinette set of modules. I can probably show you which ones. And they're really good. Great modules that I had a lot of fun looking at them and what they do. And it's called Moulinette Forge for some reason, and I find that funny, but it's great. And so yeah, it can do like a indexing of your tiles and allow you to search for them, which is really great if you have like Forgotten Adventures assets and then you want to search for table. You don't have to go looking in each of the folders and things like that. This is great, and I did a patch for it to allow it to function with the Bazaar content, so it would basically be able to index the asset packs from here. So yeah, and looking at that Moulinet um, modules, it's Van Werlen, and you can see um, that Sven is in Montreal. So I contacted him and said, "Hey, cool, you're in Montreal, and we actually live in the same neighborhood." And so I was like, "Hey, we could maybe meet up. Social distancing, obviously, but there's a park nearby, and we can go just to the park and chat because it's nice to be able to do that." Yeah, he's in Montreal too. He's in the same neighborhood as me, even. I know that Eternal Mana here is also from Quebec, not specifically from Montreal, but not too far. So that's also something that is possible. Danny Danman, you're in Amsterdam. It's a little far for me, but we can maybe do something. I think once travel restrictions are gone and things like that, there's probably going to be some conference at some point, and we would be able to do some kind of event where people get to meet, and I'll get to meet Andrew as well, Atropos, which would be really cool, because we've known each other for a while now, but only online, like most people, I guess. It's always great to meet people that you know only online. Captain Nads, so you did miss the Twitter giveaway, but there is currently a Twitch giveaway. So if you type #anniversary, then you will be able to get entered into the Twitch giveaway, which I will draw right when we're done with the Q&A questions. So I think we're almost done with the questions, actually. So let's see. Brian, any chance Kakaroto will attend an in-person con, possibly in the upper Midwest in October, assuming it's still safe to do so? I don't know which conference you're talking about, but yes, there would be a chance to attend an in-person conference. Well, con, probably you meant convention in this case. I'm used mostly to conferences, like software development conferences. But yes, if there's no restrictions. I just had my COVID vaccine this week, actually, so my first shot. So I still have my second shot not until September, because I'm in Canada and we're slow. Uh, so I probably wouldn't be traveling until I get that second shot. A few weeks after that, and then we'll see with regards to the travel restrictions and everything. But yeah. Meet me, Eternal Mana. Yes, sure. We can definitely do that as well. Not sure what the issue was. Maybe just one user with Moulinet. Strongly depend on Moulinet now. Yeah. Spending money on creators. Will need another job to get all my Patreon subscriptions online. Just wishing more creators would develop modules for their creations. Yeah, I think it's moving in that direction. It just takes time to adapt. So I think we'll see more of that, especially as Foundry has become such a prominent VTT in the VTT space, in the DnD space. Meet in the middle, the ocean, Rotten Ronnie. Between Amsterdam and Montreal, I'm pretty sure we'd have to meet in the middle of the ocean. It might not be a bad idea. Yeah, let's all meet in Cuba. I think that would be nice. All right. Let me see. Let's have ice cream. Yes, Eternal Mana. I saw some pictures of ice cream that you were tempting me with last time. I think you have a great place for ice cream. I would definitely enjoy finding out what ice cream you buy. Let's see. On a cruise would be a good idea. Yeah. Right. Greenland is nice this time of year. Yeah, right. Okay. Let's all go to Japan. Yes. Japan is a little far, but yeah, I want to go to Japan at some point. Definitely. I need to find some free time first, but then yes. All right. I think is there any other questions? Because if there aren't any new questions for me to answer, I think we can go ahead with the Twitch giveaway draw. How was that being done? So we have 27 total entries. That's cool. Let me see. I think we can just move this thing here. So we have 27 entries. How do you troll a troll if you could troll a troll? Well, simply by answering Alaric, because Alaric is a troll and he likes to troll by asking trolly questions, expecting not to get an answer. So I just answer you honestly, and that's my way of trolling the troll. Right. So, okay. All right. Let's do the draw now with 27 total entries. That's good. Let me see. Draw entry. I hope I can draw 5. It's not like it's one at a time, not like. Okay. Draw entrant. Are we ready? Go. Green Lantern Mike is not following. Do a follow, and well, you don't really have to follow if you don't want to. But yes, announce as drawn entrant. Well, let me do. There you go. And let me do. You are so cool, man. Well, thank you. You are most likely cool as well, Gully FT. You're not following Green Lantern, Mike. All right. I will draw another one. Nagira. Congratulations, Green Lantern Mike. Yay. You do get a $20 gift card from the Forge that you can use towards either a subscription or Bazaar content that you can buy on the Forger's Bazaar. Congratulations. We are drawing winners. You can most likely still type that hashtag anniversary if you're just joining now, because I just saw a peek in new people watching. But yeah, congratulations. Did we get a confirmation from Nagira? I'm not sure. Well, let's wait for Nagira to confirm, and then we can draw the next one. Yeah, say something, Nagira. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. So this is accept, deny. So Green Lantern Mike, you accept the mission. I mean, I saw you answer. So accepted. So Nagira might have left. And so, okay. I'll leave it a little for now. Willen DK. I know I've seen Willen DK ask a question, so I know he's not a bot. I know he's there. Let's announce it. Congratulations to Willen DK. All right, let's enter fourth one. Impson Twitch. There you go. And let's do the fifth one now. Chris GT Hom. Not sure how I'm supposed to be pronouncing that. All right. Let me see. Okay, I have to catch up to see if everybody answered. If you're not here to answer and claim it, then I'll have to skip you and give it someone else. Oh, Nagira answered. There you go. Congratulations, Nagira, on the win. He's here. All right, Nagira has been accepted, and I see Imson Twitch as well, and Chris and Imson Twitch. Where's Willen DK? Willen? Are you still there? Chris G. Thom. Okay. Right, so congratulations to all the winners. Still looking to see if... So, Willen DK is following. I don't know if he's still here. I don't know if I'm supposed to be waiting a bit more or if I'm supposed to just pull someone else out of the hat. I remember the nickname though, so I think it was one of the questions was asked by Will and DK. Oh, he went to get tickets to Greenland. It's possible. It is definitely possible. Well, at least we know he's not a bot. So should we give it to them or should we draw another one? What do you guys think? Draw another. Okay. Both. Okay. All right. I'll draw an extra. Cone static. Cone static. Just got drawn. Gaming. Cone static is currently gaming, but you won. You won the gift card. All right. So we're over the marketing budget. Yeah. So we have our 5 winners, and we have Wellen DK. If he is able to reach out and claim it, then he will also get the gift card. All right. So at this time, I'm not actually sure how we're supposed to do this. So I have the gift cards. So it's just a link that I need to give you. So I'm gonna ask you, I guess, to just write me a private message in Twitch. Yeah, so yeah, send me a private message and I will reply to can I actually how am I supposed to... Okay, so I can whisper. As you can see, I'm not super great when it comes to Twitch. Okay, so I can do whispers. All right, let's go back. See, Green Lantern, Mike. So we have Imps and Twitch. There you are. So here's a whisper. Nagira, whisper. Chris G. Tom, whisper. Where's the other one? Green Lantern, Mike, whisper, and we have Cone Static, who's just sent me a whisper. Alaric, who is probably trolling, of course, say meow. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Who is missing? Green Lantern. I think Green Lantern. Green Lantern, whisper. No, I already had him open. Well, I'm okay. All right, one thing at a time. Calm down. Where are my gift cards? Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'll send these to you. So Nagira just got one of them. Okay, I should close this. Oh yeah, I wanted to demo something, but I failed at doing that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's my 5th one. Okay. What's next? Green Lantern Mike. There's your gift card. Okay, so 1, 2. Then we have Chris. I don't think it worked opening the... Oh, Cone Static here said hi. So let me send to Cone Static his gift card. And so 1, 2, 3. Imps and Twitch is the 4th. Then we're just missing Chris Cheatham. Where is Chris Cheatham? There we go. Whisper. It opened. Now it's the last link. And there you go. So I just sent the gift cards to the 5 people who want them. Can you all confirm, please, that you've received them and claimed them, hopefully? So 1 was claimed. One of the 5 has been claimed, but not the others yet. So, okay, I got a thank you, I got a hi, and okay, so this one received. Oh, okay. So I think those are just like details. Let me just catch up on the chat now. Roll what? Good night. I'm finished session prep for tomorrow. Going to bed. Good night, Rotten Ronnie. Thanks for being here and following. Alaric saying he's not actually a troll. That is such a lie. I don't have time, Alaric, to use a communication tool. I mean, I can write one, but using it is a whole other thing. All right. It's rotten. Routen? I mean, I'm just gonna blame it on my accent, okay? All right. Okay. All right. So I think that's basically it. Let me see. What else did I want to say? Oh yes. We do have a new Twitch channel. Which is going to be twitch.tv/ForgeVTT, I believe. That makes sense, right? We will be using that for future dev update streams and things like that. This is my personal one. We were just using this one because there wasn't anything else, but now we're setting up a new Twitch. I'll post the link in the chat, so you can follow that one if you want, because that's where we'll be doing our dev updates from now on. We're also going to do the next dev update with in a month instead of 2 weeks. So far we've been doing 2 weeks, but I think doing them monthly is going to be a bit better, giving us a bit more time to handle all the kind of progress that we have, so we can give you even more information. I think it's just gonna be better to do it monthly, and if there's a need, we might change it. We might increase to like the rate. So we'll see. But for now, we're dropping it to monthly, and that's about it. Let me see. Yay, Eternal Mana being second follower. Yeah, to last thing that did not work out. That was something with the Foundry version in the game manager. Yes. Okay, let me try that. Okay, I wanted to show that. I am trying to show you. Let me see. Okay. So, I'm just gonna do this on the dev server just because it's easy. So let's say the latest beta version is 0.8.4, right? And it says last Foundry version used on this release channel is 0.8.4. Now I'm just going to make the 0.8.5 available, basically simulating that there's a new release of Foundry on a specific channel, right? So by doing that, what happens is Foundry, let's go back here. So I'm just reloading the server. Go ahead. There you go. So latest beta version. What? It should be saying 0.8.4. Why is it not saying? Come on. There you go. So the latest version is 0.8.5, but the last Foundry version that I've used is 0.8.4. So this is simulating, basically you set your game to be on the alpha or the beta channel, and then there's a new release, or even, you know, the stable channel, and then there's a new release of Foundry. So what happens in that case is you'll potentially just open your game, and it's just going to be a bit slower because we're on the dev server, so everything is slower. But go ahead, come on. Shouldn't be this slow. But yeah, so we go to our game, and once we log into the game, you will see the change. Come on, why is it this slow? It should not be this slow. So it says it's online. Is it loading or not? There you go. Now it's loading. Ugh, that was slow. Hey, Will and DK is here. Yeah, you did. You did win. Wait, that's VV. Hey, people are trying to trick me. All right. So hey, there you go. A new Foundry update to 0.8.5 is available on the beta channel. Click here to proceed. So that's the notification you're getting within your game to tell you that there's a new update. Okay. if you remember, during the 0.6 to 0.7 updates, with the Forge, one of our features was the fact that you would automatically get upgraded when a new release was coming out. So that was a great feature. The only problem is that if you were not expecting it, then you would suddenly get a upgrade of Foundry that you were not counting on, that could cause issues to you. So people were not necessarily all happy about that. So what I wanted to do with the 0.8 release that is coming out is to tell you, even if you are on the stable beta or alpha channel, that there is a new release instead of automatically upgrading you. And so if you click here to proceed, basically, then you get this page that tells you that you are configured to be on the beta channel. This is the latest release, 0.8.5, but you are currently on 0.8.4. So before you upgrade, we suggest to always export all your worlds. So you can click on export all worlds, which will just start to download a full export of your Foundry worlds. And then you can decide to either remain on 0.8.4 or upgrade to 0.8.5. And depending on what you do, so if you do upgrade to 0.8.5, then what it would do is basically in the settings here, it would tell you that the last Foundry version used on this channel is 0.8.5. If you choose to remain on 0.8.4, it would be the equivalent of changing it to just be 0.8.4 directly, rather than keeping you on the channel itself, on the release channel. So that's the new feature. Once you click, there you go. You have updated your Foundry game settings to use the version 0.8.5. And so if I reload here, you should see it as saying last Foundry version is 0.8.5. So that's how you're able to, first of all, know about updates to Foundry, and secondly, get a good reminder that you should periodically back up all your games. So, before an upgrade, you have a backup of your games before that upgrade occurs. So that's always a good thing. And secondly, it will allow users to just choose which version they end up on. And it prevents that whole shock of, wait, how come I'm suddenly on 0.8? Because next week, 0.8.6 is supposed to be released on the stable channel. So anyone on the Forge who has not customized their Foundry version would technically be on the stable channel, and then suddenly they get an update and then modules stop working and things like that. We don't want that. So we want to let the user know about the upgrade and give them the chance to back up and then upgrade at their leisure. So that's that's the feature. All right, let's see. Some people were trolling. All redeemed. Yes, the 5 gift cards that were given were all redeemed. Thank you all. Thank you for participating, by the way. I don't think I've said that. Thanks for everyone who has participated in the giveaway and for watching this celebration. We're on the 3rd hour, basically, of the anniversary celebration. So for those who have been there from the beginning, thank you for your patience. So we have the trolls. The feature upgrade all worlds just means that their default version will be moved to 0.8.5, but the actual update to the world itself will happen when the world is open. That is done by Foundry. Yes, absolutely true, Alaric. Thank you. Yes. So you have it basically just changes. So it doesn't say your game was updated to 0.8.5. It just says you have updated your Foundry game settings to use the version 8.5. So yeah, just to be clear, the Wheelin' Trolls were not you. I wonder why you feel the need to specify that, Alaric. I'll believe you, kind of. I'll half believe you. All right. So that's about it from my side. I think we had um a good anniversary celebration. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if there's anything else I missed. I did want to show this earlier, and I was not well prepared to show it because the game here was already set to 0.8.5, so I couldn't show the upgrade, or rather it was set to stable. So if I switched it to latest beta, it would have switched to 0.8.5. So anyway, yeah. um is there anything else? We did the giveaway, we did the Twitch one. Oh yeah, I do want to mention something else, because I know people love giveaways, right? Uh, so there is another giveaway, but this is more geared towards package developers. I don't know if it has been announced yet. It has earlier today. So for those who are interested, you can go to the Foundry VTT Package Jam 2021, which is a celebration of Foundry VTT's release, as well as the League of Extraordinary Foundry VTT Developers anniversary as well. So there's you have 1 month basically and 22 days, so like almost 2 months to do a to participate. This is, as I said, geared towards developers, so it's about creating a module or a system, or it could also be like a video, an educational. So there's a couple of things, right? So your submission must meet the following criteria: be one of the following: system, module, or world which works with Foundry VTT 0.8. Okay, a developer tool for use in creating Foundry systems, modules, or worlds, a self-contained piece of documentation or educational material specifically catered towards version 0.8 of Foundry VTT. So like a wiki page that is authored by you, maybe a YouTube video, tutorial, something of that sort. So if you're able to do that, then you could participate in the league's Foundry VTT Package Jam 2021. We had one last year as well, about like 8 or 9 months ago. We did another package jam, which was really great, very popular. We had, I think, something like 15 new modules created within that short time span. One among them, I remember, was vehicles and mechanisms, which was really a cool module. There was whetstone. There were quite a bunch of really interesting modules that were created out of that package jam. And Kalego was also one of the participants, and he made his first module there, and now he runs the league's Discord, if you could believe that, huh? Uh, so yeah, and there are obviously prizes. There will be 12 categories. Well, 6 community voted modules or submissions. It's better to say submissions, based on 6 different criterias, or is it? Yeah, it's 6. And then there are 6 also categories that will be judged by the ringleaders of the league, of which I am one. And in each of these categories, 2 winners will be chosen, plus the 6 chosen from the community voted ones. So you have basically 18 different winners potentially here, and you can see you have a $40 Forge gift card, as well as a $40 the Rollsmith gift card for the first prize here. To the 6th prize, that is a $10 Forge gift card and a $10 Rollsmith gift card. And there are also cash prizes and things like that. And if you're not aware of the Rollsmith, this is a great recent release of a marketplace basically for Dice So Nice. So you can go to the Rulesmith to purchase dice packs for a Dice So Nice module, and the Rulesmith dice are also available on the Bazaar if you're interested. By the way, so yes, there's your next giveaway if you're interested in it. It's more of a contest, not really a giveaway, but there are prizes that might be interesting to you all. All right, so that's about it. I wanted to mention that and this and that. Did I forget anything? Just looking through my notes. I was supposed to rant about the UK's VAT system, but I'm not gonna do that. Actually, it was Destiny's suggestion. You should rant about that. Other than that, I think we're done. I would like to show you my nice T-shirt. I don't know if you can see my T-shirt. I should look in OBS. It says Dungeon Meowster. Isn't that nice? That was a gift card. Not gift card. That was a gift from my wife. So yeah. And I'm gonna end on that. I'm the Dungeon Meowster, logging out, saying thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Congratulations to all those who won, and thank you all for trusting the Forge. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thanks. That's all. And have a good rest of the weekend. Bye bye. Yeah, Dungeon Meowster Kakaroto, peacing out.